Hey guys, welcome to KD Industries. This is Kiara. Today we're going to be talking about 5 signs that your partner is abusive. So sign number 1, often when we're in abusive relationships, we can not even see it until we're too deep into it. So I made this video today because I want people to know that they're not alone and that this video is the first step. Finding out the signs will help you tenfold in your next relationships. Often abusive partners will want to isolate you from your friends and family. This kind of works in their favor. You might be someone who's really close to your family, who has a huge family, who it's really normal for you to see a whole bunch of them here, there, and everywhere, and they just won't understand that. They will be like, why? Why do you have to go see them again? What's the big deal? Didn't you see them last week? Isn't that enough? And they'll originally start questioning you on it, and then they'll get mad when you go. And essentially what this purpose this serves is that they feel insecure when you're out with other people. When you're out with other people, those people are most likely the ones that are going to be telling you, if your relationship is abusive, don't like this guy, think he can treat you a bit nicer than that, I don't know about how he talks about you, it's a bit disrespectful, or we're just not sure. You sure you're not interested in leaving him? They're going to be the people who are saying that. So he's insecure that you're going and talking to them without him, really. He wants to be there. He wants to know exactly what's going on. And so by isolating you from your friends and family, essentially this works in his favor because you're only going to hang out with him. If you don't have anyone else, of course you're just going to hang out with him all the time. And that's what he wants because that's how he can control the situation. And often it's really easy to fall into this pattern and not even realize that we're doing it. And then when it comes the time that you might want to leave, or you've decided, oh, this isn't a relationship for me, you're going to be isolated and your friends and your family are going to be that whole arm's length away, and you're, again, going to have no one but him to turn to, and that's what he wants. You might not be someone who has a big family and you just don't understand that. That's fine, but if you want what's in your partner's best interest, if it makes them happy to go see their friends and family, you're going to want that. You're going to be like, go for it. You're not going to want to hold them back from that. Number 2, ever heard that classic line that fuckboys sometimes say, all my exes are crazy? Yeah, well, all of them? Multiple ones of them? Really? You gotta ask yourself why. Just labeling someone as crazy, people don't go from 0 to crazy most of the time. Some people do, most people have had at least one not great relationship where you potentially might end up calling your partner crazy, but to have multiple ones is a bit of a red flag. And to be honest, calling your partner crazy, that just sounds like you don't have a very good radar on your own behaviors and how that might affect someone else. If you're pleading the victim like, oh, she just went nuts out of nowhere, you probably haven't noticed the 10 little things that have led up to that, or noticed why. You got to kind of weigh up why these things are happening. And when your partner's saying that all my exes are crazy, if you don't know his previous partners, of course you're going to side with him, right? You don't know what they're like. You're just going to give them the benefit of the doubt and be like, oh, they must have been crazy, like anyone would, because obviously you're interested in this guy and you've just started seeing him, and it's really easy to just see the best in people and be like, oh, poor guy has been down on his luck, things are going to change with our relationship though. But yeah, when he's saying multiple girls are crazy, sometimes you got to look at the common denominator there. It's like if someone's lost every job they've ever had and they come home and they tell you, oh, the boss is a prick, they've just gotten rid of me for the 5th time. Reflect that back and look at yourself for a minute and be like, hey, why is it that I'm getting fired here? What is it that's contributing to this? And with his exes, what is it that contributed to that? And I'd encourage you to ask why. What happened? It just tells me that he's not quite owning up to exactly what's going on there. Or is wanting to play the victim and wanting you to sympathize with him and be on his side. So, number 3. Number 3 is that he kind of struggles to relate to your emotions sometimes. I know a lot of people can deal with this. A lot of people kind of struggle to get in touch with their emotional side sometimes. And there can be nothing wrong with that. But in a potentially abusive relationship, this person, they're not in touch with their own emotions, and therefore how can they be in touch with your emotions and empathize with what you're going through? They can't. They can attempt to understand what they think is going on, but that's going to be very much colored by their own personality and by what they think and believe. So if they've got this psycho ex, they're not going to be able to put themselves in her shoes and be like, maybe if she tried to control me, I would get very annoyed and walk out the door every now and then, you know? Like they're incapable of almost understanding that. So therefore, it's quite easy to just label someone as crazy because you can't even trace back why they're responding the way they're responding. They're just responding, and that just leaves you in a state of confusion. For an example, you might come home from work one day and you might be feeling really flat because you've had a crap day, maybe something didn't go your way and your boss was a bit annoyed and you're like, I've had a really bad day, babe, like just really messed up today, you know? And someone who's not really in touch with their emotions is going to be like, or be able to relate to, is going to be like, oh, that sucks. Well, guess what happened in my day? And it's kind of like one of those conversations where they're just so excited to talk about themselves that they kind of just brush over what's going on for you and don't really acknowledge or validate that you have had a rough time and make your day a little bit better somehow. Number 4, everything's a bit black and white. Sometimes with abusive people or narcissistic people, in the beginning, everything is roses. Everything is amazing. They think you're the hottest girl. They love to show you around town. They love to spend money on you, buy you presents. Like, everything's going amazingly because they've put you up on this pedestal. But their expectations are so high because it has to be what pleases them all the time, and they don't have that empathy to understand you're a person with flaws as well, that gradually this will change, and gradually you'll go from the good to the bad. And this could just be really subtle in the beginning. Like, it might just be like, oh, that was really silly of you to do that. No one would do that unless they were stupid. Or, I think I should do this one because I don't know if you can do it. Like little condescending remarks, which sometimes can come out as jokes. Oh, funny joke. But then you stop and think, you're like, hey, wait a minute. Was that actually a joke? Or did that have a bit more truth to it than I thought? And you kind of let it go and you let it slide because you don't think it's a big deal, but then progressively it steps it up, and then next minute when you're fighting, he's telling you you're stupid, you don't know what you're talking about, you're overreacting, you're this, you're that. And those little things add up. They really do. Like, people start to take them on board. You hear too much of something, whether in your own thoughts or someone else telling them to, you question it about yourself. You're like, am I really like that? And that's kind of what's the dynamic that's going to happen. And you can track that in relationships. You can see, oh, this was when it was going really well, and then all of a sudden it just shifted, and now we're in this phase, and where did that come from? So that's a bit of a red flag. And finally, number 5, last but definitely not least, probably one of the most important things that I would count as a huge red flag if I was starting to date a new partner would be gaslighting. So let me break this down. Gaslighting is a fancy technical term for a type of emotional abuse. So essentially what it is, your needs, whenever you have a problem or a difficulty and you want to go to this person and explain, hey, look, this was not on the way you treated me, and are not listened to and heard and actually understood. Often when you go to a narcissistic person or an abusive person with a problem, like for example, I'm just pulling this out of the blue, but say if they were texting one of their exes and you found out and you were upset about that because you thought that that might mean the end of your relationship, and you've gone to them and you've gone, hey, look, I'm not happy with you about texting your ex. Like, I really don't like that. You really should have told me. That's not okay. They're going to immediately get on the back foot and get defensive. And when they get defensive, the way a narcissist deals with that is to attack. In a usual relationship, in a normal relationship, you would have a discussion about that. And you might get a bit angry, but you're listening to the other person's point of view and they're listening to your point of view, and you're just trying to explain yourself. Like, I did it because of X, but it didn't mean anything, babe. Like, you're still my girl. Like, I still really love you. Da, da. In an abusive relationship, it's just going to get flipped back on you. So you've come with this issue that you'd like to get resolved, and all of a sudden it becomes, how dare you question me? You're questioning the strength of our relationship. You don't trust me. You're so insecure. It's all your jealousy that's coming out right now. How dare you put that onto me? You're a disgusting human being. And suddenly it flips. It flips from you trying to get your needs understood to you feeling incredibly guilty because you've upset the other person. The other person has flipped it. They've told you that you're the one in the wrong, that you're horrible, and I was just texting her because her brother just passed away and it was all because of that. Like, it wasn't out of anything. There'll always be an excuse for their behavior, no matter what it is. And then it'll just flip on to how bad of a person you are for even bringing this up. When really, every relationship has their difficulties. Every relationship will have their fights that need to be aired. You've done absolutely nothing wrong here. But suddenly it's all been flipped on you. And you walk away from that conversation feeling like, am I a jealous person? Was I trying to manipulate them into telling them they loved me or something? Like, do I not trust our relationship? And you have all these questions and you really start to doubt yourself to the point where you can't even believe yourself anymore. You can't believe that I just wanted to have a conversation about this, an open and honest conversation. I wasn't trying to attack anyone, but the manipulator will make you think that you were trying to attack them and that you're in the wrong. And so gaslighting is when you get completely kind of messed up a bit and you think, you pretty much learn to just avoid those conversations altogether and just tiptoe around things. If it happened again, you probably would just ignore it and be like, I better not bring it up because he's going to get really angry at me and I'm going to make him break up with me because I'm acting jealous. That's the way it's going to play out. So if gaslighting is going on with your relationship, that is a huge red flag and your needs are never going to get met because they're always going to be met with resentment. So where to from here? If you've realized your relationship is abusive, reach out to your friends and family. Reach out to your support networks. Get some support through this, whether it's a counsellor, whether it's 1-800-RESPECT is a great helpline if you're in Australia. If this is making you think a few things about your relationship, I think then it's time to really question if this person is right for you or if you think that there's a way forward with this, because a lot of the times if people are too defensive about things, they'll never change. And you've got to make the decision as to whether you're going to stay or not.